Hey Ryan,
Lana, what's happening?
guess what I did on Friday?
Guess what you did on Friday? You danced the night away.
No, I
Oh,
did not dance the night away.
then I have no idea.
But I did go for a float. I went for a
Ah,
float.
a float. Well.
Yeah,
How about that? Just like we were talking about last week.
yeah.
Number five on last week's list, floating. Spending time in a sensory deprivation tank. Were you deprived of sensory information?
I was, and it was such an interesting experience. Like the things that I was kind of afraid of are nothing to be afraid of, obviously, but it was like such a relaxing experience and something I will definitely do again. And if anyone's listening and has contemplated doing a float or thought about it or, is maybe just hearing about it for the first time, I highly recommend it. I would say it was probably one of the most relaxing experiences I've had doing like something like that outside of like having a massage or something.
Yeah,
You just leave feeling so like I felt like I'd had a 12-hour sleep.
yeah, yeah. So I still haven't done mine. Still haven't used my certificate. But now I have like slightly more motivation because now you've done it and I haven't done it. I'm a little jealous,
Mm.
a little bit.
And it was cool because one of our listeners, Misha,
Yep.
she was working at the float place that I went to. So this is just a
Pretty.
shout out. Hi, Misha, because I know you're listening.
Hi,
Um,
Misha.
yeah, so it was kind of cool. Like I went for a float and met somebody that I kind of know through social media.
Yeah.
And
Was there anything about it that was like really surprising or shocking or blew your mind?
I don't know if really surprising. I mean, it was really helpful watching the like getting started video. Like when you book, there's like a little 5-minute YouTube video to watch. So I watched that. So like you know what to expect. And then Misha walked me through the experience as well to just make the whole experience like really good. And I find having those tips and having had the walkthrough made the experience a lot more enjoyable. One thing that was really interesting, though, I must say, is you would think that your whole body would relax when you're floating, right?
Yeah.
And my whole body relaxed except for my head. Like I couldn't relax my neck.
Oh,
Um, and so Misha had told me to put my hands behind my head to just like cradle my head. And that
yeah.
naturally my muscles would then relax and then my arms would float away, which is what happened.
Oh,
But had she not told me that, I don't know if I would have been able to stay in there for the whole hour because my neck was so uncomfortable for the
oh,
first
wow.
like couple minutes.
Oh, okay. So that's surprising. I didn't know that was going to be a thing. I hadn't heard
Yeah.
about. That's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
But I did relax. And another really cool thing too was like, then I was like, oh, okay, wow, I'm really relaxed floating here. And then I asked my body to like relax even more. And then I hold like a lot of tension in my hips. And then my whole like lower half of my body just like relaxed 10 times more. And I was like,
Oh,
okay, now I'm floating.
yeah.
So
Uh,
it's
I want
really
this.
interesting how your body responds.
I want this deep, exotic relaxation that you're describing. I'm into that.
So I'd like to go back because I feel like we were talking about this before we got on the recording, but I think the next time I'll be less focused on am I doing the experience correctly? And I'll be able to just kind of like surrender into the meditation of it all
Yeah. Yeah.
next time. But this was kind of just like getting to understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess it probably is like one of those things where the first time you do it, it's just sort of orienting to the experience. And then the
Yeah.
next time you do it, there's no need to reorient. You can just focus on the actual,
Yeah.
you know, experience more easily.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So,
Yeah.
well, I'll have to do one and then we can revisit the topic and compare experiences. Cool. Shall we
Yeah.
get back into part two of the list of
Yeah.
stuff coaches like?
Yeah, let's jump back into it. I think we were at number 10. Were we? Yeah, number 10.
We're on number 10 now.
Yeah. So this one is raw or specialized diets. So consuming specific foods or diets believed to boost spiritual, physical energy, like raw vegan or Ayurvedic diets.
Ayurvedic, I think, is
Ayurvedic diets, yeah.
Ayurvedic.
I like this one. This isn't something that I subscribe to like on a regular basis, but I have I'll do this sporadically.
Yeah. The raw or I've never done an all raw diet. I've
No.
definitely like um I don't think experimented is the right word, but utilized different styles of eating
Yeah.
just for the purpose of learning and um seeing what effects they have. I'm not a vegetarian right now, but I've done periods of time of vegetarianism. I've done the high protein stuff. Uh, yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, I think people in the coaching industry, personal dev industry, are definitely more inclined to be open to the specialized eating routines
Yeah.
or different things. I don't know why it calls out raw specifically because that's just one of many different
There's so many, yeah.
eating styles a person could have. Yeah, this is a good one, but this is another one that kind of like there's so many people who are not involved in coaching or not really too interested in personal development who do make eating well a priority, and they probably would be open to all the same kind of stuff that falls under the umbrella of specialized diets. So yeah, this is a good one. Yeah, but it's not, again, not exclusive to
No.
coaches.
No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say. I have a whole book on Ayurvedic diets, which
Oh,
I
do you?
really like. I think it is cool. But when it comes to diets, and I'm not like a nutritionist or anything like that, so like don't take what I'm saying, too seriously. But I
Of course.
think everyone has their own diet. Every single person's body requires its own specific diet.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like, these kind of like fad diets that come and go, like they don't work for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I think
Yeah.
you have to really listen to your own body and like figure out the foods that work for you and go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's quite true as well. Yeah. Well, obviously, because, if everybody ate the same thing, then a lot of people would be having allergic reactions and insensitivity or sensitivities to different things. So
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's go on to the
All
next
right.
one.
Next one.
It is holotropic breath work, a technique that involves controlled breathing patterns to induce altered states of consciousness. This is super duper big amongst people in the coaching industry and personal dev industry right
Yeah.
now more than ever. Breathwork has been around for forever, of course, but I think it started to gain popularity in our circles, a few years ago. Um, and more and more. And these days, there are tons of coaches who are certified breathwork people, and there's retreats you can go on that focus around breathwork. Wim Hof is a big, big, big name, both inside and outside of the coaching industry. And he really sort of advanced, I think, awareness and utilization of breathwork technique in the world. So yeah, this is a good one. This one
Yeah.
has its place on the list for sure. The thing that, and I've done breath work because breath work is something that with a little bit of research is very easy to try on your own.
Hmm.
I'm not recommending anybody do it or don't do it. That's up to you. But I did it, and you certainly can reach significantly altered states using some of these breathing techniques.
Yeah. I love breath work. I've had a couple of breathwork sessions, like one-on-one breathwork sessions with a practitioner, and I went like deep, very deep. In fact, I went for my first session. I didn't, which is the best because you don't know what to expect. I had a really, really profound experience. Um, so much so that I didn't want to go back for like a second because I was like, I don't know if I can handle that
Yeah,
again. Because it was for me, it was like kind of required, I guess. But I went to kind of like a scary place where I felt like I think it released something
yeah.
for me. But then, so I had all this anxiety about going back because I'm like, oh God, I don't want to go through that again. And I had a completely different experience my second
Yeah.
time. So, I think it just depends like what you're working through or, what your mindset is at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like anything that's going to give you access to parts of yourself in a different way, anything that's going to cause an altered state, your mindset going into it is going to have a direct impact on the experience you have
Yeah.
while you're in that
Or even
altered.
like the intention you're setting, like in terms of like, what are you going in to discover too? Right.
Very true. Yeah. Very true.
Um, yeah, but highly recommend that. And you can also do group classes too, which I
Yep.
haven't done yet, but would like
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. I've done the breath work on my own. I've done it with friends during a coaching program. I've done it in a class, and I've done it with a one-to-one practitioner. And the most powerful experience of all of those was definitely with the one-to-one
Mhm.
practitioner. But they're all different experiences.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool.
Good techniques to know. I used breath work when I was in the float tank because I
Oh,
felt a bit off base when I turned the lights off.
yeah,
So I had to do some breathing just to, calm myself down a little bit.
yeah, very cool. All right, let's go on to the next one. We got
Yeah,
a lot of
next
these.
one.
These. It is really fun going through and talking about each of these
Yeah, I like
things.
it.
So I hope the listeners are enjoying this conversation, and maybe they're feeling validated for the things they've tried, or feeling intrigued for the things that they haven't tried and want to.
Yeah, make a list of the things you want to maybe
Make a list
do.
if you want the full list. Shoot
Mhm.
myself or Alana a DM on Instagram, and we will send you the full list
Yeah,
of the 18 items, so you can do with that what you please, I guess. And again, as a reminder, we're not recommending anybody try anything or don't try anything. We're just reading a list and talking about
yeah.
our own experiences. Number 12. Ooh, I this one I think some people might be surprised to hear that I really like.
Mm,
Number 12 is sound baths. Immersing oneself in sounds from gongs, singing bowls, and other instruments for relaxation and healing. I really love those like performers that have like a whole bunch of singing bowls around
yeah.
them and they're doing all this stuff. I've never gone to a sound bath in person. I've consumed them via the internet through video and audio. Um, I really I'm into it. I'm down with
Yeah.
that.
I love it too. I'm really into it. I experienced a sound bath when I was on my retreat in Mexico last November. And she had like all those crystal singing bowls. And we were in this like circular kind of like all of our heads were together and we were just like in this meditative state.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful. And if you resonate with sound, then you're going to find this really relaxing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And well, I mean, this kind of goes with the frequencies, right? The sound frequencies.
Yeah, because the sounds create frequencies, or the sounds are frequencies, and yeah, it's believed that they can impact you in different ways. The thing I think about, like sometimes people have a hard time understanding or grasping or even believing that sounds can have a positive impact on you. But here's the thing: they're just worst case scenario, they're soothing, relaxing, enjoyable to listen to,
Yeah.
right? And if you
Yeah.
like it, great. And obviously, if you're doing something that you enjoy and that's soothing and relaxing, that's going to create, good chemistry inside your body, right? And put you
Yeah.
in lower blood pressure, all that good stuff. And then best case scenario, the theory that these sound waves permeating your cells causes them to be at increased health or vitality, even better, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of like the thing about sound baths is it's a no lose
Yeah.
proposition, right?
Unless they're terrible at making the
Unless they're
sounds.
terrible, yeah. Unless they smash the singing bowl on your head, yeah, it's hard to go wrong. Yeah, okay. So number 13. What's number
Mhm.
13 on it, Max?
Energetic healing. So like Reiki or chakra balancing, crystal healing. This is an interesting one because I think for some people, they don't understand energy necessarily and like how that works.
Yeah.
I've experienced Reiki. I think out of these, like Reiki is probably the most popular, or most well known.
Hmm.
I've had wonderful experiences with Reiki for pain specifically. I've never done any kind of like crystal healing, although I do own crystals and like wear crystal bracelets. I've never like experienced like an actual practitioner healing session with crystals.
Hmm.
Although when I did do breath work, the mat that I laid on was a crystal mat. Like it was, the underside was all crystals and heated. It was so
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
And then with Reiki, I've had like Reiki sessions over Zoom, which were amazing. Like I could literally feel stuff happening in my back
Yeah.
with Reiki. And that was with Nazreen, who we both know, and her
Yeah.
mom, who were amazing. And then I've also experienced Reiki in person at their home or at their studio, and they have crystals everywhere. Like when you walk in, you can just feel the energetic vibration of the crystals.
Yeah.
Or like, when you walk into like a crystal store, even like it just
Yep.
feels so clean, the energy.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. Crystal stores are a lot of fun,
Yeah.
uh, for many reasons. So yeah, so this one's another one that's really big. I'll say amongst coaches and personal dev people, anything energy, Reiki,
Yeah.
as it says, their chakra balancing, et cetera, et cetera. I've definitely received, Reiki and enjoyed it. Yeah, I think this is one of the ones that like it isn't super mainstream, especially when we talk about and
Yeah.
transmitting energy and long distance energy and all that kind of stuff.
I
Can
think you really
sound
have to believe it, or I don't know if it's,
you gotta be open to this
yeah,
to this kind of thing, right?
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so yeah, this is a good one. This one definitely belongs
yeah, I
on
love
this
it.
list.
And I would,
What I've noticed is that a lot of the people that have come to me for coaching training, either NLP or hypno, come to me already Reiki trained.
hmm,
Yeah,
that's
a lot,
interesting.
a significant proportion.
Yeah. I think what I've gathered from some of this stuff, I mean, I would even argue like hypnosis and coaching is energy healing because I think what it is, it's the exchange of energy between two people, holding space for someone so that you can be heard and like listened to and understood. And that's like an energy exchange that feels really nice.
Very true.
You know what I
Very true.
mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of modalities are energetic healing. Like just
Yeah.
having a conversation with someone that's like actually listening to you is energetically healing.
Yeah.
But then also like the other thing that it makes me think of is like going to church. Like I grew up going to church, and I don't know if I necessarily liked to go to church to hear the sermon or anything like that, but what I loved was the organ. And I loved the like creaky wooden pews and like the smell of everything in there and just like everyone congregating together, and then just
Yeah.
like that like bass of the organ. For me it was just so energetically enriching. I loved it.
Yeah.
Um And even now, if I'm like away and like going, like, in Europe where you're going into old churches and stuff like that, I just love it because you can feel the energy
Yeah.
if you're tuned in to that, like attuned to that. You know what I
Um,
mean?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do know what you mean. Um, yeah. Love it.
Yeah, I
Love
really
it.
love this one.
Cool. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Anything energy. Okay.
All right, next
Uh,
one.
let's go on to the next one. The next one, number 14, is aromatherapy and essential oils.
Mm,
Because of what's happened on the business side of essential oils in the last couple of decades, I know a lot of people have negative connotations in their mind attached to essential oils. There's been a
Mm.
lot of people who have tried to appeal to the mainstream consumers and made big claims of both the benefits of essential oils and selling essential oils. So a lot of people out there, unfortunately, have a bad taste in their mouth about aromatherapy and essential oils. I want to acknowledge that. I don't. Um,
No, me
but
neither.
uh, yeah, this is a big thing. There's whenever I'm on in-person trainings at for coaching or NLP, or whether I'm running them or I'm attending them, there's always people who've got like all their little bottles of essential oils and
Yeah.
aromatherapy, and they're sharing, and they're like, okay, you got to rub this one on your wrist first thing in the morning before we start the day. Okay, we just finished lunch, now rub this one under your nose to maximize information. Like, and I love it. These people are so like knowledgeable about all these things and what does what. And there's also, for all the weird connotations that are attached to them, there's a lot of benefits and joy. And you know um when I think of essential oils, that's what I think of. I think of
Yeah.
like people excitedly being like, try this and like rub it here, and like having a great time. And then beyond that, I had an aromatherapy massage a
Mm.
few years ago, and I remember it because it was easily in the top 3 massages I've had in my life. Just the integration of these pleasant smells basically into the experience really amped things up for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love essential oils. I'm on the same page as you. I have them around me all the time. Like I use them as part of just my life.
Yeah.
Like I've
I'm a
got
big
one right
fan,
here.
but I don't really have them. Like I've gone through phases where I had like a diffuser in
Mm.
my office, which turned out to require way more maintenance than I was willing to do. Because it would like get gunked up and like break down, and like you have to put water in it, all
Yeah.
this stuff. Anyways, um,
Yeah,
but
I'm
yeah,
more into just putting them on my hands and smelling them if I need it. But I use essential oils every night. Like before I go to bed, I use it to just kind of like calm my body.
yeah,
And I use it in my skincare, like all of my skincare. I just make my own skincare
yeah, yeah.
with essential oils.
Yeah, so this is a good one. This one again. There's definitely some crossover between mainstream interests and coach specific interests, but this is definitely like you go to like I said, you go to an NLP training, and easily half the people there brought 5 plus different types of essential oils with them in their bag or their backpack or whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think coaches
My
like.
hot tip for listeners, if you have doTERRA essential oils, which is one of my favorite brands, but I use one called On Guard, and it's kind of like a cinnamon smell to it. But anytime I feel like I'm getting sick, or if like my family is sick and I'm like telling myself I'm not available for the sickness, I will huff On Guard like crazy. And
Yeah,
it works. Like I am a firm believer in it works.
yeah,
Um, because I've avoided flus and colds that everyone else in my family has by just using On Guard.
yeah, yeah. Cool. All right, I haven't
All
tried that
right.
one. Good.
Next one.
Number next. This is a really interesting one. This one might even be slightly polarizing for people who are in the coaching industry. And it is quantum jumping, a meditative visualization technique where individuals imagine jumping into an alternate universe to connect with another version of themselves. This comes under a lot of different names. There was a training a few years ago I remember hearing about that was like the doppelganger timeline training or something like that. That was really interesting. So this one, I know the hypnotists listening to this are gonna say, well, that's just hypnosis, right? When a person imagines themselves a different version of themselves, and like,
Mhm.
and yeah, they're not wrong, but some people will make the distinction to say, no, it's not hypnosis. It's a different modality called quantum jumping or quantum timeline jumping or whatever. I've used this in the context of hypnosis, where it's a visualization exercise for the
Yeah.
purpose of accessing unconscious resources, et cetera, et cetera. This one definitely, to the uninitiated, will sound weird if it's described with this quantum jumping title and the kind of the description we just heard. But definitely something coaches like, I would say.
Yeah. I think that it's really interesting. I worked with a coach. His name was Philip Attar. He's all about like somatic healing, but then he uses this like astral travel within your body to go into the space within space within space.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds all right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here
Cool.
it is. Somatic heart trademark. That's what he calls it. How to overcome subconscious blocks through somatic meditation.
Mm,
It's very interesting.
yeah. Yeah, that sounds nice.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. If you're into hypnosis or meditation, doing this type of thing, these sort of meditative visualizations, or even like putting yourself into other places is really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
All
Next
right.
one, mandala coloring. Or it could be really any coloring. It doesn't have to be mandalas, but
I think you posted just the other day a picture of a
yeah,
blank
I'm
mandala
working on one right now.
and some markers that you were ready to fill in with some color.
Yeah, I'm working on one. I really
Yeah.
like it. That's actually, I got really into it during COVID.
Yeah. I
Um,
think a lot of people did. It kind of like adult coloring books, and mandala coloring is a more specific type of
yeah,
adult coloring. But they kind of blew up over the pandemic in popularity because people were at home. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is with these mandala coloring and general coloring is that it can be quite meditative. It can be quite
mhm,
relaxing and soothing to the mind, and can also open communication between the conscious and the unconscious. There's many benefits.
yeah.
This coming from a person who has never done this, I'm just aware of it.
No,
But
it's
yeah,
true. It does.
for those that enjoy it, I think it's a great little hobby, a great little exercise to have.
Yeah, it's really fun. And it does, like, it quiets the mind because it's the mandala specifically, everything is small, right? So you're having to, it's just enough concentration that it takes the mind chatter away.
Yeah,
Because if you want to stay in the lines.
yeah,
Like I've seen some pretty funny memes where it's just like when you're so frustrated and you're doing a mandala and it's just like scribbled all over the
yeah,
mandala coloring sheet.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but you pop in some sound frequencies and start doing the mandala coloring. It's such a relaxing little exercise.
yeah. Stack a few of these things
Or
on
listen
top
to a
of that.
podcast while you're doing it, even.
Or listen to the No Excuses coaching podcast.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So
Next.
number 17 is dance or movement therapy, using dance or movement as a form of emotional and physical expression. So when I was a younger person, I think it was grade 7, there was a man that came to my school to give a presentation. I think he was like an art teacher or a drama teacher or something like that. And he did this demonstration on what he called frenetic dance, and he invited people to like get up on in front of the group with him and just do kind of whatever, just move their bodies in whatever way they intuited in front of everyone. And I remember knowing that I would never, ever, ever do that ever. And now here we are, 20 years later. And in the coaching world, we have what's the name for it?
Ecstatic
This
dance parties.
ecstatic, ecstatic dance and similar rituals. Still not doing it. I'm not into this type of expression personally. Fabulous for you folks who are. Not my jam. Not my
Yeah.
jam. Yeah.
Well, this is the whole point of my hypnoflow classes,
Yeah.
right? Is to move the energy and have that expression if you feel called to do something like that.
Yeah.
Because it can be very healing
Yeah.
once you cross that threshold.
Yeah. I remember one time, I was not that long ago, some years ago, but not that long ago. I happened to be in a very large park at the same time as another group. Um, the group was there, and they were doing what appeared to be scream therapy.
Hmm.
So they were all just screaming a lot. And
Mm,
again, good for you if that is your
yeah.
way of expressing or moving energy. Not my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really I don't like those aggressive ones. I don't know if this maybe there's some sort of deep subconscious thing for me, but like the aggressive like anger therapies I'm not into. Like where you like smash stuff or you like punch a pillow or you scream into a pillow.
Yeah, I'm not into
I
that
would
either.
much rather like dance
Yeah.
or move my body that way.
Yeah.
But I must say, I'm a huge proponent of movement and like ecstatic dance and that type of thing. But where I don't like it is if I'm at like a conference and we're hanging out and learning and I'm in learning mode and then they're like, okay, let's get up. We're going to have like a 2 minute ecstatic dance break. That I'm not in alignment with as much as like going to a hypno flow class or an ecstatic dance class where you've like set the intention that this is what I want to do right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think that not that you have to be prepared for it, but it's just like you need to be in the headspace that okay, I'm going to move my body now. I don't
Yeah.
like the idea of it being sprung on me that all of a sudden I'm going to have to get up and do this like dance thing. Like that happened when we were at Hypnothoughts last summer or 2 summers ago. I was in a seminar and all of a sudden they're like, okay, let's get up and we're going to just shake it. And I was like, I don't want to do that right now. I'm
Yeah.
not into it.
Yeah. A lot of coach trainers and motivational people try to get groups to do that. And it's something that I don't
I feel like it's a rapport
particularly
breaker right off
I
the
don't
top.
I don't appreciate it personally. If I'm sitting in a seminar, it's like
Yeah.
we're expected to dance during the breaks.
No,
Um, yeah,
not
I'm not
into
into
it.
that personally. I
Yeah.
dance when I want to dance, which is rarely, not when we're on break in a well lit room in the middle of the day, when I'd rather be drinking coffee. Okay,
Yeah. All
we
right.
got
We're the last one. Oh, this one
number
I love.
18. Mystical or spirit animal guidance.
Yeah.
Seeking guidance or signs from specific animals or mystical creatures. Yeah, this is a big one. Like there's like the animal related tarot cards, and this is something that I haven't explored a ton personally, I'll be honest. Most of the stuff
I
on this list I know a good amount about, but I don't know too much about spirit animals or
yeah,
mystical animal guidance. So
me neither. I have to look them up when I find them. But I was just looking because I have a whole spirit animal deck, but I can't find it right now. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, but once you're kind of like interested in this, it's interesting to look up when a specific animal comes to you or like you spot it or like you're seeing that animal more often. Like just
yeah,
Google it. All you have to do is like Google squirrel spirit animal, and
yeah.
then a whole bunch of stuff will come up.
Then you get all the deets.
Yeah, you'll get everything.
Yeah, this is one again that like I think has permeated the mainstream. There's conversation of my spirit animal this, my spirit animal that. Um, but again, something that yeah, I think a lot of coaches are into not just spirit animal stuff, but like astrology,
Yeah, I think it's more
tarot,
symbolism, right? Like
symbolism, yeah, all that good stuff.
numbers.
Numerology. That's all like well within the wheelhouse of like a lot of people in personal dev and coaching.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't really get into the animal thing until my dad passed away. And then I don't know what it was, but when my dad passed away, I really got into animals. And I think it's probably because a lot of people tell you about their experiences with like
yeah,
butterflies or different animals. And then you're like, oh, well, maybe, that's happening for me too.
yeah.
So that's how I got down that rabbit hole. Because for a
True.
long time, my dad was like a blue jay, and then he was a cardinal, and then he was a butterfly. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but you're just looking for anything that's going to give you, some peace.
Of course, yeah. I've heard if you spend anytime you spot a cardinal, like a red cardinal,
Yeah.
that's a sign of somebody who's passed visiting with
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah. I 100% believe in that.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
have a little cardinal, but I can't find it right now too.
Hmm.
Anyway.
Actually, you know what's crazy? I have like a red. This must be a cardinal. And I have this plant on my desk, which is a cactus.
Oh, that is. Yeah,
And
that's a
it came with
cardinal.
this little red bird inside of it. And I guess that could only be a cardinal.
Yeah, that's a
So
cardinal.
there you go. Yeah.
Well, that's the list.
There's the list. If you want a copy of the list, shoot us a DM. If you're listening to this episode and you didn't hear part 1 with numbers 1 through 9 from the list, go back to the previous episode and listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I just kind of got an idea. I know it's like we're nowhere near Christmas or the holiday season, but you could almost turn this list into like a little advent calendar.
Yeah.
Or you could make it for, a friend or something like that, where like you just make your own advent calendar and then you put these little things in for every day. But we'd need to add 7 more.
Yeah. Or just
or
have
6.
less.
Or have less, yeah.
Do the 18 coachy days of Christmas.
Yeah. Or this could even be a content thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
18 coachy days of Christmas, and maybe you give away stuff. I don't know. So many ideas.
So many. All kinds. People do sorts of things. Cool. All right. I guess that's it. For those that are listening, join my simple social sanctuary, ryanmontes.com. You can find the details there. Social media coaching from me, and join Alana's Ascension Circle.
Yeah, join my Ascension Circle. And then I've also got an event coming up on October 26th, the Metonic Lunar Eclipse event, where we're going to release a 19-year cycle and invite in what we want for the next 19 years.
Sweet. Mm-hmm. Sounds all right. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, so you can find more about that. Well, just message me at Alana Banks Coaching on Instagram.
Cool. All right. There we go. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Talk soon. Bye.